Hey there, and Happy New Year. It's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
This morning, just a few moments ago, is announcing that an additional $2.5 billion in U.S. support is heading to Ukraine. President Joe Biden says the funding will provide Ukraine with an immediate influx of capabilities that it continues to use to great effect on the battlefield and longer-term supplies of air defense, artillery, and other critical weapons systems. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered an apology to the president of Azerbaijan following last week's deadly plane crash in Kazakhstan, but stopped short of taking responsibility for the downing of the airliner. This comes amid mounting allegations that the plane was hit by Russian air defenses. Two U.S. military officials told NBC News on Friday that there was intelligence that indicating that Russians may have misidentified the plane as a drone and then shot it down.
2.5 billion more dollars going to Ukraine. But did you notice how quickly he went from Biden giving away all of our money some more to Putin bad? Putin bad. Yeah, Putin's bad. He's been doing bad things for a while now. We know it can be stopped, but instead we're just fueling the fire by sending more money to Ukraine. $2.5 billion. That could have been spent very well here in our own country.
The most popular technique for laundering money is through high-valued art. This is because at the high end of the art world, anonymous buying is largely accommodated. Also, they don't care how you pay for it. Once you've made the purchase, you can then get the art transferred to a free port, which is a highly secure free trade zone of an airport or shipping port. Goods in this area can be exported or imported without customs or import taxes, provided they are exported in their original form. You can then sell the art to a legitimate buyer without ever seeing the piece.
I'm sure it's no surprise, but I did not know about this. Never even thought about money laundering in the art industry. Then my husband and I were watching this video last night about how modern art is crap and it's going for millions of dollars. And it makes a lot of sense.
This artist is activating his sculpture. Okay, so you poked a hole on the bottom bucket, right? Wait, what? What? Am I missing something? Okay, so he dropped it, and then what else? Ain't no way, bro. These guys have to be NPCs. There's no way to call in this art. Like, you can't tell me this is not used to launder money. There's no way, bro. Let me look up this guy's art. Bro, it's literally buckets with umbrella. Am I losing my mind, bro? Like, what? You're telling me I could have been a millionaire when I was a kid. Come on now. I know people are gonna say, art is not what you see. It's all about how you feel. Okay, Jessica, tell me exactly what you feel when you look at this picture. I'm about to switch my profession. You know what? Give me a minute real quick. Hold on. Y'all want to see art? The first Quaker Oats wearing a silky. Come on now. Give me my 50 million right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, that's art. That's the modern art. And there was one that I saw. It was just like somebody put tape on a huge canvas and then just painted it blue and pulled the tape off. And it sold for millions of dollars. That's ridiculous. It's totally a money laundering scheme. It's gotta be, because it's ridiculous.
Oh boy, what now? Subject: grilling activities causing disturbance. Dear non-HOA resident Colton Briggs, it has come to our attention that your recent grilling activities have sparked multiple complaints from members of our community. While we understand the appeal of outdoor cooking, the aromas emanating from your grill, whether it be steaks, brisket, or other meats, have become a source of frustration for our residents, many of whom are vegan and find the smell of grilled meat particularly unpleasant. As neighbors, it is essential to consider how your actions impact those around you. The pervasive scent of barbecue wafting into our HOA-managed properties disrupts the harmonious environment we strive to maintain. We kindly request that you refrain from doing any more grilling outdoors going forward. Yeah, that's certainly not going to happen. Instead, we encourage you to explore alternative cooking methods indoors that do not release such strong odors into the shared airspace. What the crap? We trust you will take this request seriously and adjust your culinary practices out of respect for your neighbors. Please note that continued disruptions may prompt us to escalate this matter further. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation in preserving the peaceful enjoyment of our neighborhood. Should you wish to discuss this matter or explore more neighborhood-friendly options for your outdoor activities, please feel free to reach out to us at the HOA board meetings on the first Tuesday of every month. Sincerely, Mrs. Ronald Smith. P.S. For inspiration, many of our members would be happy to share vegan recipes that align with the community's values and contribute to a more pleasant atmosphere for all. I think instead I'm going to host a grilling party, and everybody within 100 miles that has a grill is going to come and we're going to smoke and grill meat. I think I can be grilling on a daily occurrence now. What do you guys think?
I think that's a fantastic idea because those vegans are encroaching on your lifestyle. You like to grill and you like to eat meat, and them telling you not to is bothersome. So I think the HOA should do something about that.
Well, it's official. If you've ever expressed support for Luigi Mangione, NYPD is probably putting you on a terrorist watch list. Forget that he hasn't even been tried yet, and forget innocent until proven guilty. Apparently, Luigi is guilty until proven innocent, and if you support him, you're guilty too. I've even been hearing that news reporters at stations across the country are being warned if they openly support Luigi, they may get labeled as a terrorist as well. Let this be a reminder to ya, if they think of you as a criminal, they will make you into a criminal.
Well, that certainly is interesting now, isn't it? Now, I don't support the actions that were taken because I don't think it's right to kick somebody else's bucket. It's not okay. It's just not. We're a society of civility and we don't do that kind of thing. But I do support the message that it has resonated amongst the people because something's wrong with our healthcare system and something's got to be done about it. And this may just be the catalyst to make that happen.
So the Dior bags are real. They are our Dior bags, and I have cross-referenced this now with people that have worked in organizations that we have heard of who know about other organizations we have never even heard of and operations to make these Dior bags. And the one thing that the multiple people keep saying is that truth is stranger than fiction, and fiction has become reality, and that there are many things going on at once, at the same time.
So, in my usual Mrs. Collins Today's Coffee Talk fashion, I am late to the party. What the heck is going on with Dior bags? I don't get it. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to bring it to you, and we're going to find out. I'm going to find out, because I'm sure you already know. I'm always late. What the hell is going on?
Okay, let's go over this again. Christian Dior bags. Yeah, they might have been seen in our skies for years. For years. However, if you're seeing the Christian Dior bags, it's because the people who manufacture the Dior bags want you to see the Dior bags. Does that make sense? Let's try to apply Occam's razor to the Christian Dior bag situation, saying the simplest explanation is probably the most likely one. Let's say you're an advanced manufacturer who knows how to make Dior's and Birkins and, the Oscar de la Renta bags, okay? But you're so good at making these bags and you're using them to surveil your competition. Why would they have lights on them? They are flying bags. Why on earth would the people who manufactured the bags allow us to see them? They wouldn't. That's because anytime you see high-priced handbags, it's because they are being advertised. Handbags are the most effective tool at intimidating your competitors. Does that make sense? And if they weren't our handbags here in the United States, if they weren't all United States handbags here in the United States, then we would try to dismantle and take down those handbags, but we're not. Why are they visible? Why are they visible in the places they're visible? Because we are demonstrating that our handbag technology is so superior that it's mysterious. I'll explain anything you like. And for the record, I was more of a fanny pack by Fila kind of guy.
Okay, I get it. How many of you were yelling at me for the last few minutes telling me that it's a just a code word because it's just a code word for drones because people were getting in trouble for using the word drones on TikTok. And I totally understand the necessity for code words because I got banned for a week from YouTube for posting some clips that had some negative connotation towards what people call the jab, which I'm going to now call marshmallows because apparently the jab is getting recognized by the algorithm and they're like, oh no, I know what that means. So it's marshmallows now because marshmallows are harmless, right?
Hey guys, this is John. You're listening to Purgatory News. I have breaking news. 5 million vaccines have been ordered to the UK in preparation for the potential next COVID. The UK has ordered 5 million vaccines in preparations after concerns of potential outbreak of the bird flu. So, a lot of stuff is happening again. People are unsure about things, and so it looks like they're preparing for this bird flu that's getting out of hand into all the cattle and animals and everything else.
That headline was a little fear-mongery, wasn't it? Because it says next COVID, ooh, makes everybody get all scared, shaking in their britches and whatnot. But why would they order so many marshmallows if this particular pathogen hasn't even mutated to the point where it's spread from human to human? Wouldn't that need to be happening in order to create a marshmallow that would be effective in this situation?
Well, breaking news from the Supreme Court. President-elect Donald Trump is asking the justices to pause a potential ban of TikTok from taking effect. The video app must cut ties with its Chinese parent company by January 19th to continue operating in the United States. That's the day before inauguration. Trump wants a delay to give his administration a chance to reach a, quote, political solution. Also today, TikTok and the Justice Department filed opposing briefs with the court. Arguments are scheduled for January 10th.
So I've got a feeling that Elon Musk is going to swoop in and save the day. I think he's working on a plan to buy TikTok. I mean, I don't know for sure, and I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, he can turn it into another free speech platform, which would be fantastic.
Of all presidents, Jimmy Carter's leadership cannot be summed up in his 4 years as president. He was our most significant former president, devoting decades to fighting the scourge of disease in less developed countries, monitoring elections, working for international peace, trying to diffuse conflict. We talk a lot about the lack of affordable housing today and the rise of homelessness. Well, Jimmy Carter was doing something about that through his work with Habitat for Humanity. And, you know, while we do tend to focus his presidency on the tragedy of the Iran hostage crisis, the stagflation, it wasn't just high inflation, it was high inflation and unemployment. There was so much he did in a positive way. Camp David, SALT II, moving us towards energy conservation.
While I am not very well versed in the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of President Jimmy Carter's presidency, I do know that the man made it to 100 years old. That's pretty impressive. And literally, the only thing that anybody has to do is die. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Just die. And he didn't do it for 100 years. That's fantastic.
2023? Former President Jimmy Carter passes away at 98 in 2023? What in the Mandela effect is going on? This is just for entertainment. We all know that he just passed away yesterday. Jimmy Carter passes away July 23rd at 99? At his home peacefully in Plains, Georgia? I'm confused. And this right behind me is actually an archive from the internet, from old internet pages. Passes away at 98. Again, we all know that he just passed away yesterday, right? Like the yesterday article says, Jimmy Carter, peacemaking president, passes away at 100. December 29th, 2024. Let me ask y'all a question real quick. Do y'all by chance remember somebody passing away? Maybe a few different times? And this actually gets kind of crazy because the frequency of our Earth is going insane. The same way in the movies that when a time portal is opened, everything looks crazy out. I wonder if there's any other changes around us that are physically visible. But I don't know. Did someone screw with a portal recently? A portal that would push a massive shift? That would maybe bring on a Class X solar flare? A lot of things to think about right here.
Wait, what? Does anybody else have any memory of Jimmy Carter passing away previous to just a few days ago? Because I certainly don't.
She just died? Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time. She led an amazing life. What else can you say? She was an amazing woman. Whether you agreed or not, she was an amazing woman who led an amazing life. I'm actually saddened to hear that. I am saddened to hear that. Thank you very much.
Another case of media manipulation. The title said that it was his reaction to President Jimmy Carter passing away, when that very clearly is old footage from when Mrs. Jimmy Carter passed away. So, yeah.
In 1985, newborn millennials had to follow a schedule of just a handful of vaccines. Today, a child following the recommended vaccine schedule will receive up to 70 shots by the time they turn 18, including 27 before he or she turns 2, and as many as 6 shots in a single visit. Are all these shots producing healthier kids? According to the data, no. Are we allowed to even ask? Also, no. Some parents who've asked too many questions about the recommended vaccine schedule can find themselves reported to Child Protection Services. Or they will get kicked out of their pediatrician's office for not being compliant. This is America, the land of the free. Parents are being held hostage. They did not sign up to co-parent with the government. We want a divorce.
I've said it many times. I am not anti-marshmallows. I'm pro-research, and I believe that parents should research these marshmallows and decide which ones they want to have their children take. Now, I also believe that it's not necessarily just in these marshmallows. I think it's in our food, because the food has changed dramatically since the introduction of these marshmallows. And prior to adjustments of some of these marshmallows. Last night, my husband decided he wanted a cake. So we went to the store and bought a cake. And the list of ingredients on it would make your head spin. What do you need to make a cake? Flour, sugar, eggs, maybe some kind of flavoring like vanilla or cocoa, and, a few other single name ingredients. But he had one bite and he was like, I can't eat this. It tastes weird. And he looked at the ingredients list and he's like, oh, we can't eat this, and threw it away. And he's right, because what the heck are they putting in the food? Why does it need like aluminum nitrate or whatever the heck it was? It was aluminum something or other, but why is that in a cake?
Let me just ask you, have you ever had a vaccine for anything?
Have I had vaccines? Yeah. I was fully compliant.
What have you had in your life? I mean, vaccines-wise.
Well, I had all the vaccines. When I was a kid, I took the 3 vaccines that were then required. Now, my kids' generation, there are 72 vaccines required in this country, 72 doses of 16 vaccines. But I was traveling a lot as a kid. I went to Africa, Latin America, and everything. So I received that entire battery that you used to receive. So I probably received more vaccines than most people in my generation.
And your kids, have all had vaccines?
My kids were all fully vaccinated now.
So you're not intrinsically anti-vaccine?
No, I was never anti-vaccine. All I want is the safety science. I think that we should have placebo-controlled trials, which are required for every other medical product, prior to licensing vaccines. I also don't believe that we should have mandates.
See, he's not anti-marshmallows either. He just wants the research done. And that's what should happen. It should be done to make sure this stuff is safe. And long-term research. Find out what it's doing to people in the long run.
Well, this is just crappy information to have to share. Before we get started, I'm Dr. Tara Lynn, and I'd love it if you click that and follow for more. The corruption of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders just keeps on giving. For those of you that don't know what this book is, this is the Diagnostic Manual for Mental Health Disorders. And legitimately, when it first started, it was about this thick, and now it's this thick and growing. And this is what clinicians and psychiatrists and basically anyone uses to diagnose you with mental health disorders. And there's tons of problems with it. This is just one of those problems. So about 60% of authors who are working on the revised edition of this manual, so the DSM-5 TR it's called, received funding from Big Pharma. $14.2 million of funding. Now keep in mind that 100% of the contributors for the diagnoses of depression, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia in the DSM-5 received funding from Big Pharma. 100%. And this is a brand new study that just came out January of 2024. At this point, what are we even doing?
We're continuing to line their pockets. That's the way it's always been. And hopefully that catalyst we talked about earlier will get things changed. I know it's wishful thinking, but a girl can dream. On that note, I'm calling it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Happy New Year's. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And come on back in a couple of days, because we're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things. It's going to be fantastic. Just you wait and see. Until then, have a wonderful day. Well, the sun is coming up, or it's already come up, and that's why it's gotten so bright in here. Let's do something about that. Oh, much better.